The sun blazed mercilessly over the scorching desert landscape, the kind of heat that seemed to shimmer and bend reality itself. Beneath its ruthless glare stood the perimeter fences of Ravenstrike Base, a classified military installation. So secret, most people doubted its existence. Inside, everything was steel, concrete, and silence, broken only by the occasional low hum of machinery or the echo of boots on tile. This was no place for civilians, let alone children. But today, something extraordinary was about to happen. A dusty, battered pickup truck rumbled up the outer gates, escorted by two all-terrain military vehicles. Inside sat a wiry old man with silver hair, dressed in a faded flannel shirt and jeans that had seen better decades. Beside him sat a girl barely 10 years old, her curly black hair tied in a loose ponytail, oversized goggles hanging around her neck, and her tiny hands clutching a worn leather notebook. "You sure about this, Gramps?" the girl asked, her wide eyes scanning the heavily guarded entrance. "Sure as the sky is blue, Arya," her grandfather replied. "They may not know it yet, but they need you more than they need all those high-paid mechanics in there." Vega was no ordinary 10-year-old. Her mind worked in equations and blueprints, in whirs and clicks. From the age of 4, she had been building functional drones out of scrap metal and repurposed microwave parts. Her grandfather, Ezekiel Vega, was once a top engineer for the Air Force before retiring into obscurity. But when he heard that the base had suffered a catastrophic failure in their most advanced drone prototype, the Phantom R7X, he made a call that would change everything. The guards at the gate exchanged confused glances as they looked at the authorization codes Ezekiel presented. Eventually, a sharp buzz and a green light let them through. The truck moved forward, passing layers of security, into the very heart of the installation. The hangar was a colossal chamber of steel and blinking lights, filled with engineers in crisp uniforms clustered around the gutted remains of the R7X. The drone looked like something out of science fiction, sleek, angular, bristling with sensors. But right now, it was a lifeless husk, its core engine in pieces and its diagnostics scrambled. Dr. Lena Cross, head of drone mechanics at Ravenstrike, turned at the sound of approaching footsteps. Her brow furrowed as she spotted Ezekiel and the girl beside him. "Zeke? What in God's name are you doing here?" "Saving your sorry project," Ezekiel said, a glint of mischief in his eyes. "This is Arya. She's going to fix your bird." Cross blinked in disbelief, then burst out laughing. "She's a child. Child who knows more about vector thrust gyroscopic stabilization than half your team," he shot back. "Give her 10 minutes. The room fell silent. Engineers glanced at each other, half amused, half curious. Colonel Briggs, a tall, stone-faced man in his 50s, emerged from the observation deck above, folding his arms as he looked down. "Let her try," he said. One sentence, and it became law. Arya climbed up to the drone with a quiet confidence. She flipped open her notebook, scribbled something, then ran her fingers along the exposed engine. Her brow furrowed. "Who rewired the torque amplifiers?" she asked. No one answered. "They're inverted. It's creating feedback loops in the stabilizer. That's why your engine keeps melting down." One of the mechanics stepped forward, red-faced. "That was protocol on version 6 of the system." "What?" Arya said, glancing up. "But you're on version 9. That configuration was deprecated 3 months ago. Didn't you read the firmware updates?" Gasps echoed through the hangar. She didn't stop there. She asked for a toolkit. Hesitant but under orders, someone handed her one. In under 10 minutes, Arya had rewired the core output unit, recalibrated the internal gyro system, scribbled a new diagnostic algorithm on the back of her notebook. The mechanics stood in stunned silence. Dr. Cross watched as the console lit up, flickering from red to green across every subsystem. "Impossible," she whispered. Arya climbed down, handed her notebook to one of the officers, and shrugged. "You're going to need a new coolant manifold within a week. The one you're using is rated for lower density thrust." Colonel Briggs descended the stairs slowly. He looked at the girl, then at her grandfather. "You always were a wild card, Zeke, but this is something else." The other engineers started to murmur. Not just admiration, but awe. Arya had done in minutes what months of testing and millions of dollars hadn't solved. Briggs knelt to Arya's level. "What do you want, Miss Vega?" She looked up, eyes shining. "Just a chance to learn and tinker." He stood. "Then consider this your invitation. Starting tomorrow, you'll be part of the team. On one condition," she tilted her head. "Teach them everything you know." Small smile broke across her face. Deal. As Ezekiel and Arya walked out of the hangar, the sun casting long shadows. Behind them, the silence gave way to applause. Engineers who had scoffed moments ago now looked at her like a legend in the making. The Ravenstrike hangar glowed under the evening floodlights. The Phantom R-7X drone now hovering silently mid-air during its first successful indoor test since the meltdown. Engineers clapped, technicians exchanged stunned high fives, and a quiet figure stood in the shadows, arms folded. Colonel Briggs, observing everything with a mix of pride and concern. Arya Vega had done the impossible. And now, the world inside Ravenstrike would never be the same. The next morning, Arya reported for duty. This time she wore a personalized tool belt, a gift from Gramp Sand. Her signature goggles rested snug over her eyes. As she entered the tech lab, all conversations halted. The room wasn't hostile. The girl who fixed the R-7X was here. Again, Dr. Cross approached her with a clipboard. "I'll admit, kid," she said with a sigh, "you made us look bad, but we're scientists. We follow data." "And yesterday you wrote the data?" Arya smiled. "Politely, I just love machines. They talk if you listen close enough." Briggs entered behind them. "Today we test her upgrade in real flight," he announced. "And Arya will be in charge of monitoring its core systems." Gasps again. A 10-year-old overseeing a $700 million drone. But no one questioned him. The team moved outside to the restricted test runway. The sun climbed high as the Phantom R-7X rolled out, its polished body reflecting light like a diamond blade. Arya stood at a control station designed for someone 3 times her age, custom seat hoisted for her size. She activated the engine, fingers dancing across the console like a concert pianist. Engine RPM calibrated. Thrust vector confirmed. "Core gyros realigned," she said. Cleared for liftoff. The drone rose effortlessly. Cheers erupted, but Arya didn't cheer. Her eyes narrowed. "There's a delay in the sub-thruster feed," she murmured. "It's toned to clean." "That's not natural." Cross frowned. "To clean?" Arya pointed to a blinking diagnostic. "It's being tampered with. The data is being masked. Someone doesn't want us to see real-time fluctuations." Briggs snapped his fingers. "Shut it down now." The drone landed. Alarms didn't blare because Arya had caught the threat before they could. Back inside, she combed through the system logs and found a hidden backdoor in the drones. "Firmware, rerouting data through an encrypted loop?" "Sabotage," Cross whispered. "Or surveillance," Briggs muttered darkly. Arya rewrote the firmware by hand. It took her 40 minutes. An adult team would have taken a month. Her code didn't just fix the breach. It made the drone 12% more responsive. Then came the unexpected. Ezekiel Vega was summoned to the command chamber. But he didn't return. Hours passed. Arya grew restless. Colonel Briggs summoned her. "Arya, there's something you need to see." In a darkened debriefing room, he showed her a classified video from 10 years ago. A test flight gone wrong. 2 engineers had died. In the crash, Arya's parents. They were the creators of Project Polaris, a drone AI system years ahead of its time. Their deaths had been ruled accidental, but recent data suggested otherwise. "They weren't just engineers," Briggs said. "They were pioneers. Your mother embedded an experimental AI into Polaris. She called it HAWKU, Arya, carry their legacy. Maybe more." Tears welled in Arya's eyes, but she nodded with fierce resolve. "Then we finish what they started." Night, she stayed in the lab, refining the drone's AI with a combination of code and intuition. She spoke to the machine like it was alive. Slowly something responded. Double quotes, "Hello, ... Arya." The drone AI was waking up. Arya Vega is just beginning her journey. What secrets lie behind Project Polaris? Who tampered with the firmware? And what will happen when HAWK becomes fully sentient?